I am going to be your topic master today. The theme for today is time, the concept of time. I'm going to be exploring, asking questions related to time tonight. No one is off the hook except the guest, unless if you choose to participate. Thank you.
So guys, I want you to hold on to your seats, brace yourself, guests, get ready for some amazing speeches. The first person I'm going to be introducing, Tony has been an active member of Toastmasters for 3 years. He has achieved his competent communicator and advanced communicator certificate. He is now working on his pathway presentation mastery module, level 2, project 1, entitled Understanding Your Communication Style. The title of Tony's speech is Hope for the Best, Prepare for the Worst. Please welcome Tony Brooks.
In this module, Toastmasters defines 4 different communication styles. I'll quickly read them. First one is direct. Second one is analytical. Third one is supportive. And the fourth one is initiating. Now, I'm going to tell you a story that relates to communication style. But first I'm going to introduce the characters in the story. And I'll start with myself. I took the test. It's a little questionnaire on Toastmasters. And it asks you questions that you answer, and then it gives you a score, and it tells you what your dominant communication style is. I won't ask you to guess, but mine was direct. Defined direct is results-oriented, focused, and competitive. Now I can adjust to other styles when necessary, but that is my dominant go-to style. The next person I'm going to introduce is my son, Chris. Chris is an adult, 40 years old, and he has the same style as me, go figure. The difference between myself and my son is I have a filter, and he doesn't. He's very direct. He says what's on his mind, whether he should or not, most of the time. It's cost him a couple jobs. He's doing fine now, but you need to have a filter. The next person I'll introduce as a character in this story is my friend Mario. Mario is 30 years old. He's married. He has a 3-year-old son. And he's from Venezuela. He speaks very good English. And of course, he speaks Spanish as well. Mario is what I would consider the opposite of us. He's supportive. Defines supportive as patient, cooperative, and sympathetic. Mario will never challenge someone. He'll always agree. Even if he disagrees, he'll figure out a way to make it sound nice. Okay, that's Mario. The last character in this story is my friend David. David is 65 years old. He owns his own business, sole proprietary. He's married with children. He should be retired, but he's still working. And David is easily what is described as initiating communication style. Social, enthusiastic, persuasive. David can be confrontational. The persuasive side of him is, if he strongly believes in something and you disagree, he tries to convince you to agree with him, whether he knows it's even possible. That's David. Now let me start the story. Some of you probably heard this before. I did a bucket list trip this summer in August. I had a Jeep. Got my friends and my son together, and we went to Colorado to go up in the mountains with the Jeep, enjoy the outdoors. One of the first things the second day, we decided to take what's called a moderate trail. We didn't want to get too difficult yet because these trails can be very narrow, and believe it or not, you're 6 inches away from the edge on a lot of these trails, and it's 100 to 200 foot drop. There's no trees, it's just space. So you definitely need to be careful and know what you're doing on these trails. So the first trail we decided to go on was called Ophir Pass. And you have to drive about 2 hours around the mountain just to get to Overpass from where we were in Telluride. We get up that morning, and it is a beautiful day. If you've been in Colorado, you know what I'm talking about. In the summertime, there is almost no humidity compared to Oklahoma, which has a lot of humidity. It's 70 degrees outside in the morning, the sun's out. I'm looking at my Jeep, and I'm thinking, you know what? We should take the doors and the top off today because we need to enjoy this weather. So we did. We get in the Jeep, and we start on this 2-hour drive to get to the bottom of the trail. About halfway, it starts getting cloudy. Remember, I don't have a top now. It's not a convertible. It's sitting in the yard. It's still warm. It starts sprinkling a little bit, raining a little bit, but it's still warm out. So it's not terribly uncomfortable, it's just slightly uncomfortable. By the time we get to the bottom of the mountain, where the trail starts, the sun's out again! The sun's out, it's 75 degrees. I am slathering on sunscreen because the higher you get in the mountain, the sun's out, the more intense the sun is, and you get sunburned a lot easier. So I'm putting all that on. I got my shorts on. We've all got shorts on, sandals, t-shirt, cap. We're ready to have a great day. We start up the mountain. It's about 2 hours to get to the top. About halfway, it starts getting cloudy again. Then it starts raining. By the time we got to the top of the mountain, the wind was blowing at about 25 to 30 miles an hour. The clouds are blocking the sun. It's about 40 degrees. And it turns from rain to sleet in August. Okay. Now, my friend said it was hail. I think he was exaggerating a little bit, but okay. So we get to the top of the mountain, and we're looking down the other side that we have to go down, and it looks like it's more difficult, and we're losing some visibility. We're standing in front of the Jeep contemplating what we're going to do about this. I slip away from the group, go to the back of the Jeep, reach in my duffel bag, pull out my waterproof boots, my socks, my insulated waterproof coat with a hood on it, take my sandals off, put my shoes on, walk up to them. They're still standing there. Hey, they didn't know I left. Walk up to them and I said, hey guys. They're like, whoa, what's up? I said to my friend David, hey David, did you remember to bring your jacket? He looks down at the ground. He says, I bought this for him for Christmas, by the way, for this trip. He says, no, I left it at the condo. I said, man, that sucks. I looked at my friend Mario. I said, Mario, did you bring any warm clothes? In his Venezuelan accent, he goes, no, man, it doesn't get cold in August. Why would I do that? Now, you might be wondering, why didn't I tell him before we left to bring warm clothes? Well, I walked to the back, pulled out 2 coats that I brought. I handed my friend David the exact same jacket that I bought him that I bought for myself. And I said, here you go, David. You're welcome. I looked over at Mario and I said, now my son Chris didn't go on this trip. He had some work to do back at the cabin, or the condo. And so I said, here Mario, here you go. My son wears a 3XL. Mario's probably Julius' side, probably wears a medium. He is engulfed in this coat, but man, he is so happy to have a warm coat. Why didn't I tell them to bring their coat? That is what would have been normal for me, direct communication. I would have said, kind of like their mom, bring your coat, it might get cold. Purposely, I chose not to. And here's the reason. Now, did I want my friends to get hypothermia and get too cold and too sick? Absolutely not. But did I want them to learn something from this? Yes. I wanted them to be a little uncomfortable on the way back. So as we go back, we're driving along. I'm driving. I got the warm clothes. I am so comfortable, man. I'm turning up the radio. I'm having a great time. And they're just doing this, trying to stay warm. But again, not enough to hurt them, it's just uncomfortable. So the point of this is, when you want to communicate something to someone, and you want them to remember what the point of it is, make sure that you have a strategy. Think ahead. What would be the most effective way to make this point? I chose a nonverbal strategy. Even though I'm a direct communicator, I chose a nonverbal strategy to make my point. And I am almost 100% sure that they will never forget that day, and they will probably remember to bring warm clothing the next time they do anything like that. That morning, when I took the doors and the top off the Jeep, I was hoping for the best, but I planned for the worst. Mr. Toastmaster.
That was an amazing speech, Tony. I tend to be a direct communicator myself. My wife tells me all the time, shut up, man. But you set those